Happy Thanksgiving, my fellow strangers. This is Mrs. Strange once again. Stranger Things 5 is finally here, and Volume 1 kicked off with several big reveals that will surely have fans talking. On today's episode of Stranger Universe, I will break down and explain all the big moments from the first half of Season 5, including everything that happened in the last 20 minutes of Episode 4. This will be full of spoilers, so please only come back to this video once you've seen those 4 episodes, or you don't mind a couple spoilers here and there. But before we start, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Stranger Universe content. Turn on your notifications to never miss another Stranger Universe episode again. Follow us on our social media platforms to stay updated for the latest news from the Stranger Universe family every day. And now, let us begin. At the start of Stranger Things Season 5, Eleven has been training with her powers to prepare for another showdown with Henry Creel. During the last quote-unquote crawl mission to find Vecna, Holly gets taken by a Demogorgon, who heavily injures her parents in the process. While Elle enters the Upside Down to find Holly, she reunites with Hopper, and the two discover a secret military base. Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Dustin also end up in the Upside Down when searching for Holly, but their efforts are halted by a large wall that seemingly surrounds Hawkins' lab. In Hawkins, Mike, Lucas, Will, Joyce, Robin, and Murray attempt to go gather the young kids that Vecna plans to take to carry out his plan of world domination. Though the group isn't successful once a massive horde of Demogorgon attacks. At the end of Episode 4, appropriately titled Sorcerer, Will demonstrates the ability to essentially replicate Vecna's powers. As his eyes turn white, Will telekinetically stops and kills 3 Demogorgons in 3 distinct locations. This act of heroism saved Mike, Robin, and Lucas. While some may speculate that Will has been harboring dormant powers throughout the series, this is not the case. After showcasing his newfound ability, Will discreetly wipes blood from his nose. Nosebleeds are a common side effect of exerting power, as demonstrated by Eleven when she uses her abilities. Although Will is not a test subject, it would be illogical for him to experience a nosebleed if he were tapping into the powers of a former test subject, such as Number 1. Stranger Things Season 5 also plays around with the idea that Will can tap into the hive mind, hijacking what Vecna can see through the eyes of Demogorgons. Mike even suggests that Will is a quote-unquote sorcerer, and he should try to control the hive mind. Will seems to go a step further by relying on his connection to Vecna to copy the villain's own powers, which will be a game changer for the rest of Season 5. Before Will unveils his newfound abilities, Vecna delved deeper into the reasons behind his initial choice to take Will in, and how it ultimately led to the grand scheme. Will was chosen because he was vulnerable and easily manipulated. Although years have passed since the events of Season 1, even Will acknowledges that the bond between him and Vecna remains unbroken. Vecna devises a plan to target more children in Hawkins, aiming to reshape the world. He preys on those he perceives as weak and broken, much like Will was in 1983. To identify potential victims, Vecna adopts the persona of Mr. Whatsit, as demonstrated with Holly. He gains the children's trust by promising to protect them from the monsters. However, in reality, he holds them hostage until he has amassed a sufficient number of victims. He appears to manipulate the children and reshape their minds to execute his plan of world domination, beginning with Hawkins. Not only do Elle and Will now possess powers capable of thwarting Vecna's mission, but Holly also has Max on her side within the mindscape, rendering Vecna's manipulation tactics ineffective. Following her divisive role in Stranger Things Season 2, Callie makes her official return in Season 4. The final episode of Volume 1 reveals that the military is holding her in their upside-down base. Callie was last seen when Elle left her behind to return home to Hawkins in Season 2. Her fate has been mostly unknown since then, at least in the show. Stranger Things Season 2 made it clear that Callie was seeking revenge around those involved with Hawkins' lab for what she endured as a child. Seeing as Dr. K and the military have been after Eleven, it makes sense that they would also attempt to track down any other surviving test subjects. Vecna, aka Number 1, and Elle are already in Hawkins, so when they found Callie, they had no choice but to bring her back to where it all began. Now that Callie is back in the picture, there's a question of what the military has been doing with her. Her head is notably shaved, so she's probably been experimented on or used as a weapon. The military is able to stop Elle from using her powers with pulsing sound waves, which Callie could have something to do with, especially since Elle referred to the military having quote-unquote kryptonite to use against her. Max doesn't wake up from her coma in Volume 1. But we did find out where exactly she's been hiding this whole time. After her death in Season 4, she woke up in the Rainbow Room after feeling a calling. She dropped in a maze of Henry's memories, some of which involved her during Season 4. Throughout Season 5, Lucas visits Max on several occasions, and at one point she almost returned to the real world. She follows the sound of Kate Bush's running up that hill and discovers an entryway back to Lucas. However, the song ends, closing the portal, and we see Henry in his Hawkins Lab uniform. After running away from Vecna, Max seeks refuge in a cave, as it's the only place he won't follow her. With Holly now in the mindscape, Max gained a new ally, providing her with a chance to outsmart Vecna and find a way out to reunite with her friends and family. In conclusion, Will may have found newfound abilities that can help against Vecna, but the villain has taken more kids, getting him closer to carrying out his plan. Therefore, the stakes will be even higher in Volume 2, with Holly still missing and more kids under Vecna's control. The military has also been decimated in the Upside Down and outside the gate at the center of Hawkins. Though the town doesn't have the same level of protection, the characters could have an easier time carrying out the next steps of their own plan without immediate interference. The same goes for Hopper and Elle, who will now need to deal with Callie, who will be a massive aspect of Volume 2. As for Max, more details regarding her escape plan will seemingly come into focus in the next batch of episodes. She mentions wanting Holly to go back to the Creel house since they can't tip off Vecna to the fact that Holly knows the truth. While the group in Hawkins and the Upside Down are still determined to get Holly back, it could very well be Max who ends up saving her in Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 2. Overall, very exciting times. And that's all we have for today. What are your predictions for Volume 2? We are going to do 2 shoutouts because we forgot one yesterday. Our first is for Master Camasats82. Thank you for commenting. And our second shoutout goes to Megan Cat's Eye. Thank you so much, you both, for commenting and engaging with our community. To get a chance at becoming our next special Stranger Universe shoutout, type it down in the comment section below. Turn on your notifications to never miss another episode like this one. Join us on our episode premieres to interact with everyone in the Stranger Universe family. And thank you all for watching. I'm Mrs. Strange. This is Stranger Universe. Over and out.